Hi everyone. I'm going to talk about teaching teamwork skills. Now, this is just a small part of what I really teach, which is sustainable design, but it's an important part because sustainability is an emotionally challenging field of work, especially these days. But I think it's important to all engineers. And I'm not the only one. The American Society of Mechanical Engineers did a survey of over 1,000 employers, recent graduates, and professors about what their engineering students' strengths were. And you can see that 40 to 50% of students and professors thought that interpersonal skills and teamwork skills were strengths of theirs. And the industry supervisors, not so much. They only thought it was about 20% or maybe 10% for communication. And so when they were putting out their report, they recommended that schools develop students' professional skills. And this is not soft skills, this is professional skills to a higher standard. And interpersonal leadership and teamwork, these are all covered in the sorts of stuff that I talk about here. But how do you teach this stuff? Mostly people just put you in teams, which, I mean, that's all the training that I got when I was in school. But think about it. You would never ask students to rederive calculus from first principles to solve a homework problem. And people are way more complicated than calculus. So why would you ever think that just putting people on teams is enough to teach them teamwork? Kind of ridiculous. So how do you do it? Google did a bunch of research on this, and they called it Project Aristotle. And they looked at what makes high-performing teams, what makes teams effective. Not what makes people happy, what makes high-performing teams. So, and they looked at individual skills like, are you a rock star coder? Or is it your team dynamics? Or is it who is on the team? But what they found was number one predictor of success, and again, this is not happy teams, this is high-performing teams, was psychological safety. Do people feel safe to take risks and be vulnerable in front of each other? Then dependability. Do people do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it? And then structural and clarity. Who's responsible for what? What are the larger goals? And then meaning and impact. Do people care about what they're doing? And do they think their work matters? So how do you build psychological safety? One thing that I do is I build empathy with people by having them take personality types. And I make it clear that this is totally unscientific. Myers-Briggs, totally unscientific. Aristotelian four humors, astrology, whatever you want to use, it doesn't matter. The important thing is not the types, it is them having the conversations with each other about, I'm like this, you're like that. That's what builds empathy. Another tool is nonviolent communication, and it is a way of creating psychological safety by building communication skills. And it's not a way to not avoid conflict, but to have healthy conflict through structured conversation. And it gives you a 4-step process. You state your observation, your feeling about it, your need related to it, and your request. It's not about being nicer, it's about being clearer, getting things out in the open, and taking responsibility for your feelings. And that builds empathy so that conflict is productive and healthy. And I have people do team contracts. Lots of people do this. Mine are particularly structured with, they start out with how to treat each person. So this is the personality types empathy thing. And then how to create psychological safety for each other as a team. And then the procedures are to create dependability, and roles are to create structure and clarity. And another thing that I do for structural and clarity is I have assignments for them to set goals in their projects, but I consider that part of the green design curriculum, not part of teamwork. And then another tool that I use is CatMe for peer evaluation. And it's not perfect, but it is free and it's web-based, so it's easy to set up. It's an infrastructure to help teams rate each other according to 5 axes that these people have done studies on that they have found to be correlated with high-performance teams. And they are contributing to work, having the right skills, interacting well with teammates, keeping people on task, including yourself, and expecting quality. And it looks at how students rate themselves and each other, and it automatically flags some troubling situations like a really egotistical student. It says, your evaluation indicates that you made the primary contribution, but the ratings from your teammates did not concur with your assessment. And it also flags underconfidence and team fracturing when 2 people like each other but not the other 2. But that is about it. And so I'm happy to talk with you more. Come ask me about teaching teamwork skills. Thanks.